In this video, we are going to review how to do Chapter 5, Section 3 on rate of change and slope. So in this video, we have a table here at the top that shows us some of the important vocabulary and how it is related to each other. So we have rate of change here. Rate of change is a ratio, which is written as something over something, that compares the amount of change in the dependent variable, that's usually the y values, to the amount of change in the independent variables, and those are the x values. So it's written, so you can sum that up as change in dependent over change in independent. We also call rate of change slope. When we call it slope, we are talking about the constant rate of change of a line, and that is the difference in the y values over the difference in the x values. So you can see that these two boxes are very much related to each other because the dependent variable is y and the independent variable is x. We also call slope rise over run, and that's a really easy way to summarize all of this. So look at this example here. We have temperature and we have time. So time is independent. Time is always independent because time just keeps marching along. We can't stop it, we can't speed it up, we can't change it. So time is going to be our x and temperature is going to be our y. And here's our temperature at the different times, 68, 80, 84, and 88. So which is the dependent and which is the independent variable? Well, we talked about that already. Temperature depends on what time of the day it is. Your temperature of your day depends on what time of the day it is. Temperature is dependent and time is independent. And again, remember that time is almost always the independent variable. If you have time or hours or minutes or something like that as one of your variables, it's almost certainly going to be the independent. The next thing says the next question says to calculate the rate of change for each time interval. Well, remember that rate of change is equal to the independent, sorry, I'm going to get a pen here. It's equal to the change in the dependent, I think I said it backwards the first time, change in the dependent, this little triangle means change in, over the change in the independent. So for 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., the temperature changed from 68 to 80. It increased by 12 degrees. And the time changed from 8 to 11 is 3 hours. So you can write it like, if you're not sure, 80 minus 68 over 11 minus 8. And that gives us 12 over 3. We can simplify 12 over 3 to 4 over 1. So the rate of change from 8 to 11 is 4 over 1. Now let's look at the rate of change from the next time period from 11 to 1. So in this section. So the rate of change in the temperature is from 80 to 84. So 84 minus 80, 84 minus 80 is 4 over the change in time. From 1 p.m. to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is 2 hours. So we could simplify that to 2 over 1. And then finally we have to take the rate of change from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So 88 minus 84 is 4 again. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is also 4. So that's a rate of change of 1 over 1, or probably just 1. Next question says, the rate rise means to move up in an upward direction. How can this help you remember the math direction? You can remember that rate of change or slope is rise over run. So you can write about how that will help you remember. And here's run. See if that'll help you remember that when we talk about rise over run, rise is how much it increases on the y-axis, and run is how much it increases on the x-axis, on the horizontal. So answer those however works for you. And then this number 6 says to find the slope of this line. To find the slope of the line, find two places where the line crosses at nice coordinates. And they actually have them marked on here, if you can see that. Let me get a brighter color here. So there's a point here and there's a point here. And then you can draw straight over and straight down to make a right triangle using those points. And then we need to find the rise of that triangle and the run of that triangle. Rise is 2. That triangle is going to go up 2 units. And it's going to run 1, 2, 3. However, this line is going downhill from left to right. So we need to put a negative on that. So the slope of this line would be negative 2 over 3. Now there's another page, and in this page you are going to use the tables given to do what we just did. You're going to take and find the change in cost over the change in years. So from 1986 to 88, you need to find the change in cost, which will be found by taking 1.63 minus 1.27, and whatever that answer is will go in that box. And then the change in years is from 1986 to 88, so take your 1988 minus 1986. And that answer will go right here. And then in order to fill in this last box, you're going to take the top number, divide by the bottom number. So let's see, 1.63, 1.63 minus 1.27 is equal to 0.36. So that's what's going to go right here, 0.36. And 1988 minus 1986 is 2. So now for that last box, remember I said now you're going to divide. So you're going to take 0.36, which is still on my calculator, divide by 2. And this gives me how much rate of change. It was 0.18. That is per year now. So that means that it has changed 18 cents per year. This is cherries, so 18 cents per year for that period of time. But it's not going to stay the same. Cherries prices increase and decrease. You can see the next period of time there's an actual decrease. So in this one, your change in cost is going to be negative. It's actually decreased, which is maybe crazy. So you're going to take 1.15 minus 1.63 and you'll get a negative answer. And then when you do your change in years, you'll get a positive number, of course. Oops, not 1888, 1988, and that's only 1. So whatever you get here, you won't really have to divide this one because dividing by 1 doesn't change it. So the answer you get here will also be the same answer you put here. And then you continue that for the last grouping of time. And then you answer some questions that say which show the greatest rate of change. Whichever ones here is the biggest will be your answer for that. And then number 11 says, was your rate of change ever negative? And we think that we probably will get that from 88 to 89. It was negative. The price actually decreased. Okay, and then this part is looking at finding slopes of lines from graphs. And the triangles are already made on here. So all you have to do is remember that slope is rise over run. And if it is up here, they talk about if it's positive. If you go up, the rise will be positive. If you go down, the rise will be negative. So I'm going up here, 1, 2, 3, 4. My rise is a positive 4, and my run is a positive, well, run is always going to be positive. So that's 4 over 2, or 2 over 1 for number 12. In number 13, though, when I start here, I'm going to go down. So this one's going to have a negative slope. 14 will have a positive slope because it's going uphill. And you'll do that for the rest of them as well. You have to draw your own triangles on 15, 16, and 17. All right, so good luck. I know you're going to do very well on this. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you very much.